Welcome to week 5, 2026. January's in the books. February's just getting started, and we've had some hot and heavy action through the first 36 hours of trade. So let's go ahead and break down some of the key levels for our markets of the week, our hot picks. We're looking at silver, we're looking at gold, we're looking at Bitcoin, we're looking at Ethereum, and we're going to have the Great Britain pound USD. So let's start off with silver. Silver's been the story of 2026. Absolutely huge market volatility, and it depends on who you talk to. Are you still bullish? Are you bearish? Right now at press time here, you're seeing silver trade right around $82, $82.67. Nice big bounce. We actually saw a print of 71 on Monday to open up February's trade. Absolutely unbelievable sell-off. And now the bounce appears to be back on. We had a big positive electronic open for the Tuesday session, and you're looking at about a 4.25% as of right now to the bulls. So that's a nice bounce. As far as what we can expect maybe later this week, it's anyone's guess. Nobody really knows what's going on in the metals markets right now. We just know there's some major restructuring and there's a lot of things happening. So we've got silver monthly chart. These were the support levels that I'd outlined, 50% right around that 75 area. That's absolutely huge for silver. Probably be watching that closely as downside support. And then 62%. If in fact the sellers do dominate this market and send it beneath 75, you're probably looking at an area of about 63.97 to be a premium area potentially to bid. So bullish trend is still intact. You can see a tremendous sell-off off of 121 back down to right around 83. So you're going to have to really be careful with your entry points. I would wait for a deeper pullback before considering a long, or at least make this market establish itself up above 86. Gold. Gold's going to be a big deal this week. Gold's always a big deal. Anytime you have the market angst that we've seen in the precious metals, you're always going to want to step back to that 10,000 feet and say, okay, what is really happening here? Well, I mean, you've got your yearly chart right here, 12-month chart, nice big bullish break. You've got basically a 3-year uptrend, which is absolutely astounding after 2 years of compression, 2021 and 2022, and then there's your break. So the bullish trend, the long-term bullish trend, still very much intact. 38% down around 4,081 is a fantastic bidding opportunity. That would be one worth waiting for. As of right now, there's a couple of key levels that you need to be aware of. Number one is going to be 5,000. A lot of action there at 5,000 in gold. The second one's going to be 5,500. So you've got your all-time highs in this XEU USD up around 5,590. You've also got 5,000 being a potential key level. You need to watch those zones because they're going to bring bidders and sellers to the market. Right now, bullish bias is warranted, but things have been very, very difficult the last several days, just like in silver. You can see exactly what's developed. Nice big sell-off. So for me, I'm going to be on the sideline just sort of waiting this thing out for things to sort of calm down a little bit. We've got some key events. We've got the RBA. As you watch this, we'll have already spoken. You've got the BOE on Thursday. That's a big one. US NFP on Friday. Not to mention, we've had the release of the Epstein list. We've had all sorts of scuttlebutt around global financiers maybe being sort of shaken out of their positions because of this scandal, so it's worth watching. You've also got the U.S. threatening Iran, new strikes on Iran. We just don't know what's going to happen here. Be very careful with gold. We're not sure how this one's going to unfold. I'm looking for stability before I do anything. But this right here, this downside support zone right around 4,087, maybe 4,100. Pretty solid, and a good one to watch for this week. Bitcoin. It's not a party without crypto. Crypto's under pressure. This is once again a yearly chart, just like gold. When you don't know what's happening to something, step back from 10,000 feet, look at the longer term time frames, identify your macro levels, and then give yourself an opportunity to sort of align yourself with the prevailing trend, even if it sort of is under fire right now. A couple of key levels to remember in Bitcoin. 12-month chart, so you can definitely see yearly support levels. The reason why we're working with this duration chart is because these are big-time levels, and we're very close to them. At press time, 78,990, 50% retracement of sort of this bullish run that began back in January 2023. 50% is right around 70,876. 62% is 57,802. I love those levels. I'm not a big 50% fan, but 70,000 is a very, very good one. And then also 62% down here. That's sort of the discount buy. I mean, if we could get a shot at maybe 57, 58, that would be a fantastic area potentially to build along, not just for the short term, but maybe the intermediate term. Very, very excited about the potential of getting that. So right now, the catalyst behind the Bitcoin sell-off is just sort of a broader mix of sentiments. I mean, commodities were definitely bearish all of a sudden. The long-term trends are bullish. cryptocurrency is really mirroring that activity. So I don't know that you'd call it dollarization. There's not really many people running into the dollar. The dollar's a little bit stronger, but these assets, these commodities in crypto have really taken it on the chin for the last several sessions. Stocks have really held their ground and moved higher. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You got to be very careful trading everything. Times like these, you fall back on your technicals. So our technicals for Bitcoin, 70,008, 62% right there, 57,807. This right here is interesting, though. The low from last year, 2025's low, we finished down 6.3%. Your low there is 74,434, so that's huge. Have we tested that zone just yet this year? 74,532. We haven't broken beneath last year's low. Be ready. If we trade beneath that level, you're probably going to 70 quickly, more than likely. Probably going to go down and take a look at maybe 57 if this sort of gains a little bit of traction. 2025's low. That's a big deal. Keep an eye on that. All right, Ethereum. Ethereum's sort of in a tougher spot than Bitcoin. We understand the long-term trend for Ether is bullish, just like most crypto, except for maybe, well, there's a lot of exceptions, but the big guys definitely bullish over the last several years. Well, this right here, Ethereum's a much different trip. This is our 920 EMA crossover. You can see that was sort of the bullish signal there. I got a nice run up to about 5,000, and since then it's just been losing month after losing month after losing month. You can see 78% of this monthly retracement zone, 2150-ish. Absolutely huge support zone. Be watching that. That is very, very important. You don't necessarily want to be holding longs if we break beneath that 2150 level. So that right there, huge downside support. Now, what can we do maybe as a position trade using the 920? I would be very careful. Very careful. That is the theme of this week. You sort of had a sell signal back on the 21st of January that showed exactly what was coming and really caught a tremendous move there. Right now, I'm sort of waiting for the comeback. Are we going to get maybe a bullish crossover, a reason to get into this market to the top side? Let's take this right down to a 4-hour chart, and you can see that, nah, not really. So we're a ways off of being able to buy Ethereum with a little bit of confidence just because the pressure is so bearish. But right now, downside support at right around 2150. That's a big one. You're going to want to be looking at that. Okay, so last pair that we're going to look at today is going to be the Great Britain pound US dollar. Now, Thursday, Bank of England's going to get involved. They're expected to hold rates firm without any sort of, well, it's supposed to be a relatively safe vote from the MPC vote, but, we're looking for verbiage. We're not necessarily looking for a rate cut or a rate hike. We're looking for forward guidance. We're looking for sentiment. We're looking for talking points out of the BOE. So this market will move. The Great Britain pound USD, it will move this week. We've got some interesting levels here. You'll notice at press time, we're trading right at that 38% on the weekly, which is right around 136.68. I would be careful. I wouldn't be holding longs or really any position going into that BOE. But if you do get a crack at 62% down there, 135.50-ish, that's a rock solid zone, sort of the back end of that Fibonacci golden zone. That could be a fantastic bid maybe after that BOE comes into play. So that's a good look at our weekly markets, our hot picks. Picks of the week, you've got silver, you've got gold, Bitcoin, Ether, and the Great Britain pound US dollar. Also, be sure to join us Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. You're looking at 1800 GMT. We're going to have how to trade gold and silver. That's going to be our Switch Markets live trading webinar of the week. I'll tell you exactly what you need to know, what you need to be looking at when you're trading gold and silver, and then we're going to execute some live trades. We did a webinar like this last week. It was very, very popular, backed by popular demand. So Tuesday, 1800 GMT. Check it out. Switch Markets live trading webinar. We're going to be trading how to trade gold and silver. Be sure to hit your notifications on the Switch Markets YouTube channel. Show up, ask questions. This is the time to ask questions, and I'll pass along everything that I know about it. I've been trading gold a long time. Silver, not so much because the margins are relatively high, but gold, know a lot about that. And as far as the mechanics of the markets, very, very similar. So we're going to break those down and get you up and rolling. Switch Markets live trading webinar. Head on over to Switch Markets on YouTube. Check your notifications. You won't miss it. 1800 GMT. That's a wrap, guys. Have a fantastic trading week number 5. Those are our Switch Markets, our Switch On hot picks of the week.